Wet, cold and gloomy conditions over most portions of the northern quadrant of the island this morning as we say hello there and good morning. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Good Morning St. Lucia on November 29th. Always a vibes at sunrise. Nice to be in your company. We're sending you warmth and positive vibrations. Thanks for waking up and joining us. Coming up on this edition of the program, we continue our focus on the national crime crisis with conversation with two religious leaders, plus a review and analysis of the Prime Minister's recent address to the nation. And later we'll link up with Dr. Jimmy Fletcher for today's edition of 2 Cent Tuesdays. All that and more coming up from now until 9. We'll also monitor the weather and share with you the latest update from the Heronor Meteorological Office so you know what to expect and how to prepare as you head out the door this morning. The time is now 6:25. The latest news, your first news of the day with Shannon LeBon is next.
The morning news, first news of the day, is sponsored by Quartz.
Good morning. Our top story this hour. Police have charged a man for the murder of a 40-year-old Ian Joseph, who was a resident of Cul-de-sac in Castries. Joseph was shot multiple times in March of this year along Jeremy Street. He was rushed to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. During a joint police operation where several warrants to search for property were executed in and around locations of the city, including Waterworks Road, Rose Hill, and Colonial Development Corporation CDC building on Darling Road. That operation taking place on Friday, November the 25th. 24-year-old Denilson Joseph was arrested in connection with the murder investigation. On Saturday, November the 26th, officers attached to the Major Crimes Unit formally charged Denilson Joseph for causing the death of Ian Joseph of Cul-de-sac Castries. His death took place on March the 12th. The defendant was escorted before the 1st District Court yesterday, Monday, November the 28th, for bail hearing. The infestation of mold at the PI secondary school has resulted in classes being halted at that institution for almost 2 months now. Classes are now being held online and are held on certain days of the week at the Schwazel Secondary School. As a result of the situation, multiple teachers at the institution have fallen ill. The Ministry of Education, which has held discussions on the matter with the staff of the school, is currently taking steps to deal with the mold situation, which is of grave concern to both teachers and parents. However, parents of some students at the school say the ministry is too tardy in dealing with the matter. One parent said that this is a serious situation and I find the government is taking too long to address the problem. The PI secondary school, which has a small student population, is one of 4 institutions that were recently transformed into a technical institution. Efforts to reach the chief education officer continue here at Good Morning St. Lucia. The main opposition United Workers' Party has criticized Prime Minister Honorable Philip J. Pierre over his address to the nation on Sunday regarding the crime situation. The Prime Minister's address came amid a sharp spike in violent crime, resulting in 66 homicides so far this year. The homicides include 4 fatal shootings last week. A statement from the opposition said once again, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre disappoints with another uninspiring address to the nation. It is yet another failed attempt to restore public confidence in his government and has come up with no holistic plan to deal with the escalating crime levels, the statement concluded. And the opposition party also observed that as soon as the Prime Minister's address to the nation ended, his office announced that he would be traveling to Taiwan the following day. The statement said whenever crime surges, the Prime Minister flees for safety by traveling. According to the United Workers' Party, the Prime Minister's address to the nation contained no hope or sort of medium-term solutions to the crime situation. They said incompetency is on full display. In addition, the party posted a video of a soundtrack of rapid gunfire on its official Facebook page, asserting that on Sunday evening gunshots rang out in V4 after the Prime Minister gave his uninspiring address to the nation. The United Workers' Party says the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister for National Security, failed to announce any initiatives to deal with the daily reports of gun violence. New claims this morning over neglect have surfaced surrounding the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and rodent infestation there. This comes as the Prime Minister, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, commits to several upgrades and improvements to assist with law enforcement and bringing criminals to justice.
The enhancements include infrastructure improvements for the police to aid in the pursuit of law enforcement. But while these initiatives are afoot, news has surfaced about the deplorable conditions at the Director of Public Prosecution's Southern Branch. The allegations suggest that staff at the department, which falls under the Ministry of Justice, have had to endure intolerable working conditions in a rodent-infested building. Photographs of the office show that it is littered with rat and termite droppings that rain down on employees while they are at their workstations. Claims also suggest that the office building has no running water. Rats are also believed to be destroying documents and office furniture. It is also alleged that staff have had to work on surfaces that may have been contaminated with rat urine, a situation that health officials stress puts workers at serious risk of contracting leptospirosis, which in most cases is deadly. Suggestions are that the grave situation has been brought to the attention of government officials, but the threat of worker victimization has caused employees to remain unwilling to speak out. With the absence of a Minister for Justice or a relevant ministry, it is anyone's guess why the problem remains unaddressed. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Eldridge Charles.
Viewfort is back on the radar of law enforcement as videos of individuals walking with high-powered weapons and the sound of bullets being sprayed into the air make the rounds on social media. The subject of such high-powered weapons entering the island, seemingly porous borders, has reopened yet again. But according to the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Ernest Hilaire, the issue is beyond border control, and it is now left to law enforcement and the government to apply more stringent measures to curtail the crime problem.
The island is seemingly in a complex relationship with guns as they continue to make their way into the streets. According to Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, in the month of October alone, police confiscated 29 firearms and 470 rounds of ammunition. Over the weekend, videos circulating on social media shows individuals wielding some shockingly high-powered guns equipped with ammunition allegedly in Viewfort. In light of this, Deputy Prime Minister Ernest Hilaire says the bigger issue is not the ports, but the source and supply chain.
The Prime Minister made it very clear last night the gravity of the situation that faces us, and I think we all know how grave it is. And the Prime Minister made a very important point. This is not something that just happened overnight. That has been germinating for years, and it's getting, more threatening and more concerning to us. And you made a very important point, and something I alluded to earlier. The proliferation of guns in St. Lucia is fueling what's going on. But we don't manufacture guns. So the guns are coming from somewhere. Now, how do we address a situation? We can spend a lot of money on social programs. It will kind of mitigate a bit. We can spend a lot of money equipping the police and giving the police the support necessary. They can frontally attack it. But if there is a supply line of guns constantly into the country that we almost incapable of stopping because of the nature of our borders and the people who are bringing them in and their contacts overseas, then we have a problem that is beyond our shores.
On Sunday, Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre stated that the government had furnished the Customs Department with resources to detect guns at the borders. However, the videos beg the question of how effective these resources are being used.
We provided the Customs Department with improved equipment for the detection of guns at the ports of entry.
Hilaire says the government has tirelessly employed measures to reduce the prevalence of guns coming in and cannot continue to expend funds without considering cutting off the source itself.
Now, if you analyze it, this is not restricted just to St. Lucia. Look at how it's exploding in Barbados, in some of the other islands. Some a lot more than others. So I think we've reached a point where we really have to say that our law enforcement agencies really have to come down hard and deal with it. It is the short-term threat we have. Government has put more resources in social intervention to deal with the circumstances of the communities that are most affected by crime, so we can change people's mindsets, we can change attitudes, we can change approaches to conflict resolution. But we also have to pursue a very activist international effort for the people responsible for guns to address it. I mean, how much money can we spend? How many more policemen we can put on the ground if constantly, every day, guns are leaving certain countries and coming to ours? Now, I don't think we have fought it at that level as well. We fought it at the level of social intervention. We fought it at the level of law enforcement. But we need to add a third dimension now. We have to. We just cannot continue to keep quiet and guns are just been pumped into our country and nothing is being done about it.
By his account, developed nations are imposing sanctions on the island, laying blame to projects like the CIP, giving rise to the gun problem. But he maintains his position that the island does not manufacture guns, and so these same nations are part of the supply chain that is fueling the gun trade.
We need to put some pressure on and say, look, I don't make guns in this country. You know, so what are y'all going to do? And also too, they have the more advanced technologies and capabilities through their national security networks to deal with issues like these better than us. And therefore, how are you helping us? And I think we need to, we've put a lot, we should put even more. But, you know, at some point, we have to say internationally. It really amazes me. Recently, there was a presentation in cabinet with anti-money laundering and whatnot and the different levels. And one of them is about we stopping the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. And I'm saying, seriously, the international community wants us to take action and to stop the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. We have other weapons of mass destruction in St. Lucia. It's not nuclear and not some of those things. It's a small arm fire. It might be small, relatively speaking, but it is mass destruction for us. That's our weapons of mass destruction. And I think we have to call on the international community.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Jasmine Duncan.
Thanks, Jasmine. More news now. The modified market pass-through petroleum pricing mechanism has been applied in keeping with the changes in international crude oil prices, and the retail price of the 100-pound cylinder of LPG or cooking gas has been changed. The retail price of gasoline, diesel, kerosene, the 20-pound and the 22-pound cylinder of cooking gas remains unchanged. The price changed took effect on Monday, yesterday, the 28th of November. Gasoline remains unchanged at $3.89 per litre or $17.70 per gallon. Kerosene remains unchanged at $3.14 per litre or $14.26 per gallon. Diesel remains unchanged at $3.89 per litre or $17.70 per gallon. The 20-pound cylinder remains unchanged at $45.27 per cylinder, and the 22-pound cylinder also remains unchanged at price $49.79 per cylinder. The 100-pound cylinder, the only one which decreased in price, decreased from $321.02. The new price now $307.24 per cylinder. The public is informed that the next adjustment in the retail price of fuel products will be on Monday, December the 19th. Drivers of the Babano route are angered this morning over hours spent in traffic caused by the poor condition of the Union roundabout. According to the public relations officer, Mr. Gibson Charles, drivers have painfully enjoyed having to travel to and from the town in such bad traffic congestions. Gibson says the issue has been discussed with the Minister for Infrastructure, Stephenson King, who told drivers the situation would be remedied in 2 weeks. However, that timeline has elapsed and nothing has been done.
Now, over 2 weeks and counting, drivers of the Babonneau route await a word from the Minister of Infrastructure on the deplorable conditions of the Union roundabout that has become a daily pain. PRO Gibson Charles says the potholes are causing serious traffic congestion as drivers slow down to maneuver through it. He says, following a previous news interview, the Infrastructure Minister invited representatives of the drivers to discuss their plights, promising to provide a solution within 2 weeks. But since then, drivers have not received any form of correspondence. Gibson says the real issue begins in Balata, where the traffic at times come to a halt and it may take an upwards of half an hour to reach the roundabout.
The last time I spoke about it, the following day there were some engineers on the ground at the time that I saw. I thought something would have happened. A few days after, Mr. King came out, he spoke, he said within roughly about 2 weeks, it's over 2 weeks and nothing has been done. So we're going through the same problem. It's like a cycle, you know, it's just back and forth. It takes you, like I said, half an hour from the Balata gas station to Union Roundabout. People are complaining because a lot of school children, the commuters, they're running late and there's no fault of ours. You know, so all we ask, can please do something to alleviate the problems. Because I ain't no engineer. But to me, from what I'm seeing, they need nothing much for that problem to be solved. All we asking is give us, you know, it's like Mr. King waiting last week at Christmas gift, you want to give us, you know. It's not like Christmas gift, you've been paid to do the job, just do what you have to do. We you know, it's like we literally have to beg you. We don't need to beg you. We don't have to beg.
He further describes the issue, highlighting what he believes to be the root cause, and says since the construction of the roundabout, traffic has not improved and may have possibly made it worse. He gives props, however, for the additional lane built, allowing traffic to flow to the Dame Louise Primary School.
Okay, within the roundabout itself, there's a lot of potholes. Okay, on either side, north, south, east, west. Okay, so when you come in there, you have no choice but to slow down. Then you have another set of traffic coming from Granivier on the way down to that intersection there. So all that backs up because, again, the potholes. But if they just think that we don't have a problem, the traffic will be much easier, it will run smoother. That's all we're asking. Personally, I have not seen the difference before and after. Because to me, the traffic is still. And to be honest with you, the roundabout now, to me, it holds more traffic. One of the things they did, and I must commend them on, was the filter road they put going into Dimpelet, so that kind of ease up the traffic coming towards Babonneau.
In making his final plea to the Infrastructure Minister, he laments that passengers are the ones suffering the most in this traffic issue.
The Christmas season coming out, you know the amount of traffic now is even worse. It's worse. And it's so bad now, going to Babonneau is just as bad as coming down. All because of the potholes, in the roundabout. All we asking, please, just pave the roundabout and we're good to go. You can't tell me you're reaching at that Balata gas station, for argument's sake, 7 in the morning, and you're going to reach the roundabout at 7:40. And by the time you clear the free flow traffic to Shock, then you have another set of traffic, well, lower down maybe by Compre, to reach the town. Somebody takes you another half hour. So you see how people running late? All we're asking, please, just fix the roundabout for us, please.
The roundabout forms part of a road rehabilitation project which was to be completed in the first quarter of the year but was subsequently damaged during November's flash flood. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Jasmine Duncan.
The World Health Organization, WHO, has announced that it will be using a new preferred term for monkeypox. According to the world body, after consulting global experts, it will use mpox as a synonym for monkeypox. The WHO will use both names simultaneously for 1 year while it phases out monkeypox. Human monkeypox was first identified in 1970 and named after the disease caused by the virus that was discovered in captive monkeys more than a decade before. The WHO said when the outbreak of monkeypox expanded earlier this year, racist and stigmatizing language surfaced online in communities and other settings. 29 European countries have reported cases of the disease, among them Canada, Australia, and the United States, prompting massive demand for vaccines to protect those most at risk. In July, the WHO declared that the virus was a global health emergency amid a worldwide surge in people developing symptoms which included high fever and skin rashes. However, global disease cases have been declining for several months now. Back home, the Grosley Member of Parliament, Kenson Kazemi, has admitted that the relief efforts to assist distressed households following the November 6 upper-level trough is a bit slow. He divulged that affected individuals have not been able to restore critical household appliances, which are affecting their standard of living. However, the minister affirms that once a comprehensive assessments have been completed, a greater thrust can now be employed to recover the losses sustained by households. Kareem Nelson reports.
Though slow, Grosley MP Kenson Kazime informs that relief efforts are continuing in the northern part of the island by way of cleanups and the disbursement of food vouchers. However, the parliamentary representative recognizes that his constituents are in need of quicker aid. One of his more poignant concerns is that residents are still deprived of household appliances, and this is adversely affecting their way of life.
Grosley is a community, a constituency with more than or close to 200 businesses, and if each business would put on average of $5,000, we would see close to $2 million invested in what we are doing in the constituency right now in terms of providing relief. There is a need for fridges and stoves, and I mean that tells you it's food. I mean, we've been doing our best in terms of providing vouchers to those people who are unable to work and have anything at home, but they still need a fridge and stove. They need to be able to store and cook. And these are not the individuals that are able to go and buy 3 meals at a restaurant daily.
While preliminary damage assessments have already been disclosed, the more comprehensive reviews are still underway. Kazimir notes that as soon as that is concluded, a greater push can be deployed to assist the affected families.
We are currently ensuring that the assessments are complete. When the assessments are complete, then we get a figure that better tells us what the damages were, what the costs are to get persons back on track, and then we are going to make a concerted effort to then provide those appliances to as many people as we possibly can.
The St. Lucia Development Bank recently donated to the tune of $15,000 towards the Grosley constituency's relief efforts. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
Thanks, Kareem. Finally, from us this hour, cruise vessel Evrima made its inaugural call to Port Soufrière recently. It was the vessel's first stop in the island and the second in the Caribbean. Speaking at a welcome ceremony, officials at the Soufrière Regional Development Foundation said that the cruise tourism in Soufrière is on a steady growth trajectory. We have more in this report.
Soufrière is riding high on the waves of the 2022-2023 cruise ship season. On Friday, 18th November, Port Soufrière marked the inaugural visit of cruise ship Evrima of the Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection. Operations Manager at the Soufrière Regional Development Foundation, Lester Casabo, notes that the luxury brand's request to visit Port Soufrière speaks volumes.
We want to see this industry grow, and by having the brand as a Ritz-Carlton ship coming down to Soufrière makes a statement, and we want to see this continue to grow. Based on our projections, we have a number of cruise lines coming to Soufrière, and this obviously speaks a testament to the work that has been done behind the scenes. So again, we need to thank the work done by the Ministry of Tourism and the partners that have been very strategic in getting the brand to come down and exposing Soufrière and exposing St. Lucia by extension. So we are reveling in this. We are very thankful that we can continue to grow the brand, and more so a few months away we hope to see even greater expansion, infrastructural expansion that will help augment the experience. And so again, it's a day of celebration for us as we continue to see the growth and the development of this industry.
Agents for Cox and Company, who led the charge to get the luxury brand to St. Lucia, and tourism officials were on hand to welcome the vessel to Port Soufrière. The chairman of the Soufrière Regional Development Foundation, Ernest Auger, and Captain Duncan of Evrima exchanged plaques.
On behalf of
everybody else, everything St. Lucia and the Super Regional Development Foundation, please, we're so happy that you're here. We welcome you. We hope you enjoy the beauty of this country, because trust me, it is beautiful. And I know this is your second port in the Caribbean. You may wish at some point to make it the first and forever. Welcome, and hope you have a great experience while visiting our beautiful country.
Notably, the Soufriere experience has been ranked top 3 Caribbean experiences. Recently, the CEO of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, Lorraine Charles, indicated that there are plans to help enhance the Soufriere experience.
So we attended the FCCA annual conference back in Miami. That was in April this year, and all the leading cruise agencies, as well as the cruise presidents and CEOs, announced that the Soufriere experience, Soufriere St. Lucia, ranked the 3rd best Caribbean experience. We do believe that Soufriere, of course, is our tourism capital. Visitors love the area because of our iconic pitons and all the other experiences and landmarks in Soufriere. So we do believe that with the cooperation and collaboration of the Soufriere Foundation, the Soufriere Development Unit, and all your different organizations in Soufriere, the SLTA is committed to ensuring that Soufriere remains that amazing experience for our visitors.
Port Soufriere is scheduled for 11 more cruise calls in December, including the inaugural visit of Sea Cloud Spirit on the 7th of December 2022. From the Soufriere Regional Development Foundation, I am Genevieve Gonzague reporting.
With that, we've come to the end of the news, your first news of the day with Shannon LeBon.
The morning news, first news of the day, is sponsored by Quartz.
Black Friday deals continue at Quartz Optical. Shop now November 20th through to 25th and enjoy BOGO! Buy one, get one free. You heard right. Buy one pair of glasses and get a second pair absolutely free. Payment plans available from 3 to 24 months. Schedule your appointment online today on www.quartzoptical.com. It's easy and convenient. Black Friday sale continues. BOGO free. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
Good morning, 6:53 now. The time. Sports is next. In sports is how we begin with results from inter-school sports. Soufriere Comprehensive, the champions of the 2022 inter-schools under 15 3x3 basketball. First, in a 1-point final on Friday, Soufriere won against Leon Hess Comprehensive. The tournament organizers and participating schools used the platform to expose young girls to competitive basketball. The score at the final whistle: Soufriere 1, Leon Hess 0. In the men's final, the males final, the team from Sulphur City got the better of St. Mary's College. The final score: Soufriere Comprehensive 5, St. Mary's College 4. We say congratulations to the champions and all the participating teams. The St. Lucia Football Association Under 19 Club Zonal Championships resumed this past weekend as the local FA continues heavy focus on youth football. Black Panthers, they registered a convincing victory against Black Eagles 7-0. The goal scorers for Black Panthers, Ineo Sylvester, led the way with a hat-trick, and the number 10, Imani Butcher, scored a brace, and Kurt Calix and Dante Seville got a goal apiece. Seville's goal coming from the penalty spot. Black Panthers, with a flurry of goals, took home all 3 points. Valley Soccer in their match scored 12 goals in an overwhelming victory against CT Foundation, who failed to get on the score sheet. A quick look now at the goal scorers for Valley Soccer. The number 10 Moving St. Romain bagged 7 goals with an impressive performance. Rawson Harris got a brace and a goal apiece for Clay Dorius and Alex DeVoe. Rivaldo Shalman also on the score sheet. We'll have the results from the other matches in the under-17 tournament in tomorrow's Sportscast. The Mango Bowl Regatta celebrated its 10th anniversary year this past weekend, November 25th and 27th. Sailors coming from Grenada, Trinidad, Martinique, Barbados, and our very own local sailors racing in Rodney Bay over the 2 days. The Mango Bowl Regatta is St. Lucia's only annual yacht racing event and takes place right here on the island. It brings some 120 plus sailors to Rodney Bay and the St. Lucia Yacht Club each year, where they enjoy exciting competition on the water and a great fun off water as well. Prizes were awarded after day 1 on the boardwalk at the IGY Rodney Bay Marina, and the overall prizes were awarded at the Yacht Club's luncheon, which were held on Sunday. The event is viewed as a major boost for sports tourism here on the island. The Marshall Football League is expressing its disappointment with a decision taken by the St. Lucia Football Association SLFA to suspend Marshall from football activities, and the association refusal to recognize the interim executive that has been duly established to manage the affairs of the Marshall League. The Marshall Football League makes it clear that the election of the interim executive was in full compliance with the league's constitution and was initiated only after written communication with the St. Lucia Football Association. Kareem Nelson takes a closer look.
Controversy has engulfed the elections of the interim executive of the Marshall Football League, MLF. The debacle began when the affiliates of the MLF received an email from the General Secretary of the St. Lucia Football Association informing of the immediate resignation of the President, Secretary, and First Vice President of the Executive of the Marshall Football League. Based on this notice, the remainder of the executive sprung into action, and in accordance with the Marshall Football League Constitution, the second vice president of the Marshall Football League, Miss Emily Remy, assumed the responsibility of president. The General Secretary of the SLFA was informed of this development via email on the same day, as well as the new president's intention to seek the assistance of the affiliates to manage the affairs of the league. Remy also advised the SLFA General Secretary to activate the Election Commission, as 3 days prior he had received nominations for the league's election, which is slated to take place December 3, 2022. In response to this email, the General Secretary advised the new president to desist from moving forward with appointing an interim committee. Despite the General Secretary's recommendation, Remy believed that the SFLA's constitution provided her the leeway to move forward with the election of the interim MFL executive.
Article 15B, which reads, "The affiliated groups of the St. Lucia Football Association shall take all decisions on any matter regarding their membership independently of any external body. This obligation applies regardless of their corporate structure." I then made my final decision. I decided to follow the duties and responsibilities stated in the Constitution and continued as planned. On the 22nd of November 2022, we had an emergency meeting with all affiliated clubs to discuss what had happened and to chart the way forward. The meeting was attended by 3/4 of the majority, which constitutes a quorum, and an interim body was elected to fill in the vacant positions as a means of assisting in the management of the league's affairs.
At the time of this dispute, the MFL was an active participant in the SFLA Island Cup, and the team was slated to play Mabuya on November 23rd. Remy notes that the SFLA General Secretary was once again noted of the actions taken to facilitate the MFL's eligibility for the competition. However, the MFL was stumped by a memo on November 24th indicating that its interim executive was unconstitutional.
The fear of the interim committee was realized the afternoon of the 23rd of November 2022 when we got word that the team had gathered as per usual on the Marshall grounds. but no uniforms, refreshments, or transportation arrangement was made. The committee sprang into action and remedied the situation, thus ensuring the team or the league was not sanctioned. This victory for Marshall was short-lived, as November 25th, a notice was received by the General Secretary via email which stated, "Your haste to undertake the installation of an interim committee is unconstitutional and goes against the caution advised as indicated by me in my email to you on Tuesday, the 22nd of November, 2022. Therefore, it's with regret I have no choice but to protect the integrity of the Football League and to place Marshall Football League on administrative suspension from all footballing activities until the Executive Committee decides an official position in terms of how we proceed to resolve the issue of mass resignation."
The Marshall Football League makes it clear that the election of the interim executive was in full compliance with the league's constitution, and this has prompted the organization to defend its cause with legal action.
It is due to the discrepancies in the communique received by the General Secretary and the haste to suspend our league, we were left with no choice but to seek legal advice and representation.
The Marshall Football League has yet to meet with the executive of the SFLA apart from the General Secretary.
Thanks, Kareem Nelson, with that report. We'll hopefully score some goals when we focus on local football and recent developments in the Marshall Football League. Our focus will take place later on this week. Hopefully then we'll score some goals. But that's the final whistle on the morning sports. Weather is next. 7:02 on this Tuesday, November the 29th. The winds are blowing from between the east, northeast, and east near 22 miles per hour or 35 kilometers per hour with occasional gusts. The weather partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers, which may be heavy in some locations. The Atlantic high pressure system will generate moderate to brisk easterly winds and rough seas across the eastern Caribbean region. Once again, the Atlantic high pressure system will generate moderate to brisk easterly winds and rough seas across the eastern Caribbean region for the next few days. Patches of low-level clouds embedded within the wind flow will cause scattered showers over the islands during the next 24 hours. Tropical cyclone formation, however, is not expected over the tropical Atlantic during the next 5 days. So, patches of low-level clouds embedded within a wind flow associated with an Atlantic high pressure system will cause scattered showers over the islands of the region during the next 24 hours. Already we are experiencing some of those over most of the northern quadrant of the island this morning. Let us know what the conditions are like in your neck of the woods. We will continue to monitor the weather conditions so you know how to prepare and what to expect before you head out the door. Just about 3.5 minutes now, moving past 7, but from the looks of things from our vantage point, we're in for some rain today, Tuesday. Makes a lot of sense to prepare for those showers, and you'll be safe out there. There's lots more online via the weather website, www.slummet.gov.lc, or via the weather hotline 454-3452. We're sending you some warmth and good vibrations on this cold, gloomy, and wet Tuesday morning. Wishing you the very best. Still with us, still to come, we will review and provide some analysis of the Prime Minister's recent address to the nation, which was greeted by heavy gunfire in the southern town of Vieux-Fort. Now again, and the police radar. Still fast. We'll also give you an opportunity to win fantastic prize from our corporate partners this morning. I'll tell you lots more right here this morning. Happy holidays from all of us and good morning, St. Lucia.
We regret to announce the death of Francis John, better known as Cock of Olio, who died on the 16th of November 2022 at the age of 62. The funeral service for the late Francis John, better known as Cock, will be announced in a subsequent broadcast. His body now lies at Rambali's Funeral Parlor, Calvary Road, Castries. May his soul rest in eternal peace. The death is announced of Rachel Monrose, also known as Monica Clark, of Bruceville View Fort. She passed away at her residence on Friday, November 11th, 2022, at the age of 75 years. The funeral arrangements for the late Rachel Monrose, also known as Monica Clark, will be announced in a subsequent broadcast. The body now lies at Lazarus Funeral Home, New Dock Road, View Fort. May she rest in perfect peace. With heavy hearts, we announce the death of Peter Edward, also known as Darius, Dal, Paposi or Jala of Margaretut Miku, who passed away at the St. Jude Hospital on Tuesday, November 8, 2022, at the age of 84 years. The funeral arrangements for the late Peter Edward, also known as Darius, Dal, Paposi or Jala of Margaretut Miku, will be announced in a subsequent broadcast. His body now lies at Rambali's Funeral Parlor, Latuni View Fort. May he rest in peace. The management and staff of Hot FM Communications would like to extend our deepest condolences to the grieving families.
After a long year of waiting, Flow brings you the magic of Christmas giving. Discounts on devices to bring you closer to your loved ones. Prizes to enjoy with your family and friends. And the best in entertainment bundles for everyone to gather around. This Christmas, one gift brings many more. Like more data and speeds to share everything with the family. So sign up, bundle up, switch up, top up, or pay up to win $4,000 in cash or appliances plus other weekly prizes. For the best in Christmas deals and rewards, visit discoverflow.co.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
Ooh la la! See what's new at Quartz. We've got great deals on living and dining room sets, appliances, electronics, and smart devices, and more. Shop today with no cash using Quartz Ready Finance, 3 to 48-month payment plans available. Shop in-store or online at shopquartz.com. Come see what's new and take advantage of these great deals only at Courts, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
A young man from Bagatelle is dead and calls on the public to not stigmatize his fatal accidents along the Bexon Highway leaves Trinidad. Shasley welcomes the scrutiny of its CI. One man is in police custody following the shooting death of the wife of a police officer.
Look out for the midday news with Daniela Edwin on Hot 7 TV.
Mourning a loss? Hot 7 TV wants to help you celebrate the beautiful memory of your loved one with In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some memorable occasion, or the anniversary of the passing of the dearly departed, Hot 7 TV will create a moving video tribute of that special person, showing how much he or she meant to you. Treasured memories, unforgettable moments. Share them with the world and repeat the airing as often as you'd like. Help keep your loved one's memory alive forever in the minds and hearts of all who care. In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Contact us at telephone number 452-6040 or email us at inlovingmemory@caribbeanhottv.com.
After a long year of waiting, Flow brings you the magic of Christmas giving. Discounts on devices to bring you closer to your loved ones. Prizes to enjoy with your family and friends. And the best in entertainment bundles for everyone to gather around. This Christmas, one gift brings many more. Like more data and speeds to share everything with the family. So sign up, bundle up, switch up, top up, or pay up to win $4,000 in cash or appliances plus other weekly prizes. For the best in Christmas deals and rewards, visit discoverflow.co.
Hey St. Lucia, Dylan Edwin here, national record holder for St. Lucia. I invite me to join Channel LeBon's show, Good Morning St. Lucia, on Hot 7 TV every morning. Now I'll see you at the finishing line.
Good morning and welcome back. Happy holidays to you and yours. We're winding down the month of November. After this one, there is one more day to go, and then the month that we always look forward to, that month of December, Christmas time, the festive season where we celebrate and give thanks for life. Coming up right here on the platform this morning, I'll give you an opportunity to win a fantastic prize from our corporate partner, Flo, who's getting you all lined up for Christmas. One gift can make and multiply to many more with Flo. We'll tell you lots more. It's a Blue Christmas this year, and we invite you to get ready and celebrate with Flo. Our phone lines are open. I'll share with you the question in just a bit. And also coming up, not today, but later on in the week and next week, as we get closer and closer to Christmas, we'll give you an opportunity to guess the right price on some fantastic items from our corporate partners. You guess the right price and you win yourself some great stuff for the festive season. Lots happening right here on Good Morning St. Lucia. Continue to wake up with us and make us your choice. Let's focus now at 7:14, 14 minutes moving down past 7 in St. Lucia. We focus now on the recent address to the nation by the Honorable Prime Minister Philip Joseph Pierre. That address to the nation was delivered on Sunday evening while the Prime Minister was en route to Taipei. He's now an official visit to Taiwan, perhaps our closest diplomatic allies, and before moving over to Taiwan on that official visit, he delivered a 12-minute long address to the nation, focusing in the main on the crime situation. We will play the address in its entirety, and then I will make a connection over in New York City, where we'll first begin our analysis and review of the Prime Minister's address to the nation. But let's give him our listening ear. In case you haven't heard, we'll review the Prime Minister's address to the nation in its entirety, on the back end of which we'll make a connection with a friend over in New York City for analysis and review of the address to the nation. Here now is the Prime Minister, Philip Joseph Pierre.
Citizens of St. Lucia, our country is at a critical juncture in its development. Despite the complicated global challenges that confront us, including climate change, inflation, supply chain issues, and the Ukraine-Russia war, we have registered many successes during our short time as a government. These successes are a result of prudent financial management, policies that put you, the people, first, the confidence of the private sector, and the cooperation of civil society groups and trade unions. Your resilience allowed us to cushion the COVID-19 onslaught on families, businesses, and our way of life. It is because of that resilience, that survival nature, which captures our spirit as St. Lucians. A business survey conducted by the Chamber of Commerce has registered improved business performances. The NIC has reported, for the first time in its history, a record number of contributors to the fund. Investor confidence is back, as evidenced by the number of investment projects which will take off next year. We are recording some of the best tourism figures, and we continue to be recognized globally for our unique product offerings. However, we risk losing all these gains by the persistently high incidence of homicides which we have been recording, especially over the last 6 years. We have been nurturing an environment over the years of tolerance for corruption where crime thrives. Our crime situation is not a sudden phenomenon. We did not just get there. Successive governments have grappled with this situation. It has hurt us. It has caused pain to families and threatens the fabric of our society. But crime has continued to plague us for too long. We must fight back and take our communities. We must fight the scourge of crime individually and collectively as a country. To achieve this, we need you, the citizens, to promote a zero tolerance towards criminality of all forms. Small infractions of the law, not speaking the truth, threats, malicious gossip, envy, peddling lies and hatred on the internet and airways, domestic violence and child abuse may appear small in comparison to homicides, but we know how seemingly small issues snowball into larger societal problems. The underlying causes of crime make it a complex issue that cannot be left to the police alone and the government to solve. The fundamental question is, what type of citizen do we wish to create in St. Lucia and the world? Until we know the answer to this question, can we effectively overcome the crime challenges that beset us? An answer to this question is that we need to create an emphatic citizen who respects the rule of law and value and respect human life and human rights. Forming this type of citizen requires input from all sectors of society: the family, the schools, our churches, other civil society groups, businesses, and the government. It has been said before that crime is every citizen's business, and we must all play our part in stemming its increase. Our neighborhood watch groups must be reactivated, along with organized sports clubs and wholesale community activities. In short, we must return to being our neighbor's keeper. The government continues within its limited resources to assist the police to fulfill its mandate of ensuring law and order. Yes, the police must play their part in upholding and enforcing the rule of law. They must be examples of good governance in the conduct of their duties. They must be obedient to their oath and have a zero tolerance for corruption among their ranks. Over the last 16 months, the government has signed contracts for the construction of the National Divisional Headquarters to replace the Groseley Police Station, signed a contract for extensive repairs to the Viewfort Police Headquarters, purchased 90 new vehicles for the St. Lucia Police Force. In July 2022, the Firearms Amendment Act was enacted in the House of Assembly, increasing the penalties for firearm offences. There will be the inclusion of new clauses, including fines that can extend to $250,000 or to imprisonment for terms which may extend to life. We allowed operational independence to the police commissioner and high command of the police. We recruited new special police constables. We provided the customs department with improved equipment for the detection of guns at the ports of entry. We enacted legislation to ensure protection for women through the Domestic Violence Bill. We provided a special branch unit with new office accommodation. We enhanced crime detection capabilities by achieving accreditation for the National Forensic Lab. We provided the police with 2 additional vehicles for patrol and quick response purposes. In the coming months, the government will formalize an interagency intelligence committee to adopt an interagency collaborative approach within law enforcement agencies to work collectively with a common goal of combating serious and organized crime. We will purchase 20 more vehicles for the police force. We will continue repairs to police stations and provide much needed equipment at these stations. We will conduct repairs and enhance security at the Bodily Correctional Institution. We will increase the police training vote to ensure that our police are trained in modern police techniques of crime detection, including human rights. We will review the promotion policy for the police. We will commence the construction of a new Halls of Justice. We will operationalize the Swift Justice Project to reduce the backlog of cases and to inspire confidence in our judicial system. We will intensify efforts to detect and eliminate corruption among members of the police force and other law enforcement agencies. We will introduce drones to assist in crime detection. We will strengthen and increase community policing and mobile and foot patrol by the police. We will commence the reconstruction of the custody suites, which was inadvisably and hastily demolished in 2021. We will provide the police with new crime fighting techniques and special training. We will install cameras at strategic locations around the island. In addition to law enforcement, the government has instituted several social interventions. We continue to provide safety nets for our vulnerable citizens within our tight fiscal space. These include enhanced social projects and food and gas subsidies, including rehabilitation programs for released offenders. Only on Tuesday, we borrowed from the Caribbean Development Bank $5 million to assist the vulnerable in our country. Over 8,000 citizens will be impacted. We will launch an island-wide cleanup campaign starting next week to clear verges, roadside hedges, and overhanging branches to increase visibility to pedestrians and motorists, and we have them maintained. Cabinet has agreed to convert the George Charles Secondary School compound to a facility for the rehabilitation of young offenders. These are just a few social interventions which commence within the next few months. Very shortly, I'll be announcing a comprehensive social intervention program to complement the law enforcement measures previously mentioned. The challenges we face are demanding, but not insurmountable. I call on all St. Lucians to play their part in rebuilding our country and to recognize that the issue of crime is for all of us to tackle. I take the opportunity to advise citizens to avoid the temptation of spreading graphic scenes of dead and mutilated bodies out of respect for those who have suffered the loss of of loved ones. We do not want to be a society that has become accustomed to scenes of mutilated bodies and blood spilling. In the coming weeks, as the police will intensify searches and roadblocks, there will be some inconvenience. I urge the public to be understanding and cooperate with the police during these trying times. In November this year, the police confiscated 29 firearms and over 470 rounds of ammunition. The police are expected to make maximum use of the powers conferred upon them by the law to bring an end to the upsurge of homicides in our country. And I can assure the police that they have the full support of the government as they continue to battle the criminal elements who are insisting on causing hanging and havoc in our country. We must offer no encouragement in word or deed to criminal behavior, and the government will be relentless in supporting the police in that battle. The majority of St. Lucians are hospitable, peaceful, law-abiding and loving people. We cannot afford the criminal minority to compromise our way of life. Our island must remain a desirable place for us to live, work and recreate, and a welcoming country for the thousands who visit us every year. Collectively, we need to confront these criminals that seem to be creating an atmosphere of fear and trepidation. As a people, we must not allow criminality to overcome us. Let us all play our part as we continue to fight together. As Prime Minister, you have my full support and commitment in this battle. May God guide our island at this time.
The Prime Minister saying there you have his full support and a commitment in this battle. Our phone lines are now open 4500 and the WhatsApp line as well 584-0077 584-0600 that's the Flow WhatsApp line. Did the Prime Minister inspire? Did the Prime Minister give you confidence that work will be done to confront this crime problem head on? You touch base with us and you let us know your opinion, your impressions on the Prime Minister's address to the nation. I will hold off on my assessment in just a bit. Later on in the program, we will have a former national security advisor right here on St. Lucia joining us to review the current situation. I'm very happy to announce as well that next week, very early in the week, we will have with us on the platform a former police commissioner here in St. Lucia, perhaps the most loved commissioner to date. I'm saying perhaps. He will be with us tomorrow, next week on the platform. Should be a very intriguing discourse. But let's begin our analysis and review of the Prime Minister's address to the nation, which was greeted, by the way, moments after by a heavy gunfire in the southern town of Vieux Fort. Religious leader, friend of the show, social commentator and observer, concerned citizen, Mr. Garfield Oliver now joins me live from New York City. Garfield, welcome to the platform. Always nice having you on.
Yes, thank you very much, Shannon. It's a blessing, a pleasure to be here with you this early in the morning. It is 6:28 a.m. on my end, so it is a pleasure to be here with you.
Nice to have you, and thanks for waking up early. 1 hour ahead of you in our zone, and we really appreciate that you're up early to discuss some very pertinent issues of national importance at this time. Garfield's image will come on screen in just a bit. My technicians are working behind the scenes now, so just hold on for us, Garfield. But we can begin the conversation where we ended yesterday with a lot of our religious leaders, yourself as well, very much monitoring what's happening here on the ground. From your perspective as a religious leader, what's the gravity of the situation that we now deal with? 238 square miles, just about a population of 180,000, 66 homicides to date.
Well, I think I've never seen, and that's the truth, I've never seen this level of lawlessness on the island of St. Lucia. Yes, we have had a lot of crimes in the past, but when you look at the society, something is wrong. Something is wrong, and I believe it has a lot to do with our mindset. People are more ungodly, unkind to each other. And when we look at our brothers in government, those in authorities, then you would see that reflection of their behavior in some sectors, in some parts of the society. And so it is a great concern. It's a great problem for me. I've been monitoring it for a very long time, and there's much more than what I'm hearing that needs to be done. We are still not getting it. I don't think the government, they're paying enough attention to this crime situation, and the sad reality, we continue on this path, we're going to lose a lot of our young brothers and sisters on the island.
In just a bit, I'll ask you, Garfield, of your opinion on some of what needs to be done to confront the issues that we face. Again, the video transmission is being worked on as we speak, and it should be on in just a bit. But let's speak about the breakdown of the family structure. Many years ago, family played a critical role in raising up a child, and not just the immediate family, but the community, which was viewed as a family as well. That has somewhat disappeared. How much is that breakdown contributing to some of the mayhem that we're now seeing?
Well, the home, you see, the society is a reflection of the home, and we are seeing a breakdown in the family circle, where you have more single parents, you have more single mothers, or a grandmother raising a child, a boy. That grandmother is limited in how she can assist that child in growing up. You have the fathers who are absent. The fathers are either on the block in gangs, or just running around. And I spoke about it sometime last week. It is sad. We have more teenage pregnancy. We have a lot of we have a lot. The problem, the problem here is family planning. When I say family planning, I'm not speaking about medication, tablets, and those things. I'm speaking about families sitting down, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife coming together, planning their future. The young persons who are heading into relationships, discussing children, career, marriage, and those things. Most of the children, the kids that we see being born in not only St. Lucia, in some of the societies, are unplanned pregnancies, and because the parents are not equipped, some they do not have jobs, they're living at their parents' home. Then I believe we're seeing that type of that reflection in our communities. Most of the times, the grandmother end up having to raise some of those children, and the grandparents, some of them have gone through hell even raising their children, and so there's no breathing space, and so those children are neglected. And the reality here is that the churches normally would pick up that slack when it comes to that family breakdown, but we're not hearing much from our religious circles, and so it seems like even the government, their hands are tied. They're not sure, what to do and how to manage this breakdown. You have families who cannot provide a nutritious meal for those children, and there's frustration, and frustration, my friend, leads to some of these criminal activities that we're seeing in the society.
Yeah, we're speaking here with Pastor Garfield Olivier. We will delve into an analysis of the Prime Minister's recent national address in just a bit, not a budget address, a national address on, in the main, focusing on crime. We will focus our analysis in just a bit. Our technicians are sorting out the video connection. Hopefully, I could have Garfield on screen in just a bit. Our phone lines remain open. 45007777. You can come in on the discussion as well and join us here in studio. Good morning to Josie Stephen, 1 hour behind as well. She's watching from Toronto, Canada. And good morning to all of our viewers online as well, St. Lucians in the diaspora. All of what we see in Garfield, and we spoke to the breakdown of the family structure. Is it a price we unfortunately pay for development, because people are trying to achieve more, and there's more pressure on the family now to go out and to achieve and to be successful, so to speak? Is it a price we pay, unfortunately, in our quest for development?
Well, it could be. It could be that. But it is a sad price. It's a sad price to pay. And that's why you need more social interventions in dealing with the crime situation on the island. Yes, you can give more police vehicles, and you can you can fix your legal system where cases can be dealt with, in a hurry. But then you will need social programs. You got to have that safety net for some of these broken families. You, even with local governments and local communities, you need to have that coming together of churches and the government in providing in each community, that's that type of support, childcare. When a mother have to got to decide whether she's going to send her child to a daycare versus providing a meal and those type of things, then when persons have to make that choice, then we have a problem. So I believe the government and even our local congregations and other social groups in the community can come together and help these families.
Yeah. Lastly on that, Garfield, before we go to our analysis of the address, from you, definitely the churches have a greater role to play and must have a louder voice in all of this.
Yes. I'm concerned about our churches. That's the truth. I'm concerned because you're not hearing them. We've had last week, I believe it was 4 murders, and the religious folks, they were just quiet. Our pastors, our leaders, there was this deafening silence, and we need to hear their voices. Church is not about money. It is not about just standing behind your pulpit. It is about being the salt of the earth, like the Bible says. Helping the vulnerable in your society. But there is this taboo that if you're a Christian, then you should not be in social issues or speaking on political matters, and that is a lie from the pits of hell. We are losing our generation. We are losing our people. And all we are doing is speaking about Babylon. We are speaking about all these, the Pope. We are speaking about, and sometimes we border into conspiracies while we lose a generation.
I'll speak to my wife. Garfield, you here with us still?
Yes, I'm here.
Excellent. We're having a very interesting discussion with Garfield. Let's bring it home a bit. We just observed the review and the replay of the Prime Minister's address to the nation on crime in its entirety. I know you watched it and you've been monitoring a lot of the feedback. A lot of feedback has been coming in. The opposition has responded, and citizens at home and abroad have been sharing feedback as well. From you Garfield, what's your assessment first to begin of the 12-minute statement? Did the Prime Minister inspire and give you any confidence?
No, I gotta be honest. No, he did not. There is no bold ideas. It's the same stories that you have been hearing over and over again. We will give more vehicles to the police. We will bill. We will bill. We will bill. We borrow $5 million US for the vulnerable. On my end, you have persons who are trying to figure out whether I'm a vulnerable, and what does that mean?
Yeah, because COVID has made several sections of our society vulnerable. Huh?
Yes, and I mean $5 million. What is that all about? So you have families who are now, they have more questions now than answers, and so they want to know, how they can benefit. Some of them cannot pay their light bills, their water bill. It's difficult to get food on the table. And when I say food, some people will think banana and oil or sardine is what you call a meal. We're talking about a nutritious meal.
Nutritious meal,
right?
Yes.
Because the problem that you will face later down would be a health crisis among your people, because even in small developing countries there is still the problem with food insecurity, and when you have food insecurity you will have undernutrition, and with undernutrition you are looking at another pandemic ahead of you. Not corona, not respiratory, but you will have other problems like cancer and diabetes, high blood pressure, and all these sicknesses that comes about as a result of lack of nutrition. So what is the $5 million all about? Are we going to reduce on the price, the cost of electricity and cooking gas, so that families can afford? Are we going to reduce on some of the basic food items that families in St. Lucia need at this time? What is the $5 million US all about? And that's the question.
And how far away will the $5 million go? We await further advice from the office of the Prime Minister. Who benefits, who is vulnerable, because $5 million alone will be welcomed by the fisher folk, I can tell you, who are still waiting for the fuel subsidy. So how far will that $5 million go? We still await.
Because I get a lot of requests over here on my end from persons on the ground, families, vulnerable families, for financial support. Some of them just need some food, and it is very sad that, again, I go back to the religious organizations who are there on the ground, but are not able to. And by the way, like the Adventist Church can get support from the outside. We have agencies like ADRA Adventist Development and Relief Agency and our community service based around the world, that they themselves can put in requests to get support for the vulnerable in the society. So I know they have been doing their best, but I believe that much more can be done, because I mean, when you look at the type of crimes, when you look at crimes in St. Lucia, you want to deal with it from not with locking people up and all these things, but you got to get to the root of those problems. Frustration, like I said, father not being able to provide for his family, decides, look, I am tired, there's nowhere to turn, let me just go and trespass on somebody's property and get some stuff for my family. And so that scenario is real, and we must be able to and with the 5 million, the truth is government will be government, and a lot of stuff can go wrong, but we got to deal with poverty, the issue of poverty in St. Lucia. I believe St. Lucia, we're behind in dealing with this poverty issue. We're behind on it.
Yeah. Let me just take in some feedback from somebody who sent in a message on the WhatsApp platform, and then we'll continue our discourse. Garfield, just hold on for me. We're still trying to sort out the video feed. Somebody says, good morning. With regards to the address, I honestly don't think it had an impact. Crime starts at the top. If we continue to see our leaders get away with, what examples are we setting? What is in place for the youth after the age of 12 here? What activities, centers, what entertainment? You are given two options: either you grow up quickly or you continue to play at pizza. More focus needs to be placed on the early stage. As for the churches, people, especially most youth, have no faith in the churches anymore. They don't make you feel welcome. The church has become more and more judgmental. Just to balance off, I think we began the conversation, and maybe now rather late than never, the church is getting the message that they need to have a greater voice in what's happening here, because sooner rather or later it will get to the pulpit, believe you or not. What should have been contained in the Prime Minister's address, Garfield, that was omitted? What would you have loved to hear?
Well, my number one, what I would have loved to hear from the Prime Minister, and I'm sure many of St. Lucians, would be what is he doing with his cabinet, his government officials, to lead by example. For instance, we've had a number of government officials who have been out there on social media and on the media on a whole, cursing, arguing, throwing NIPWE and all the other back and forth as government officials. When you look at the house setting has been very I would not allow my daughter, I have one child, I would not allow my daughter to sit at a television together with me and watch the debates, because I believe they're childish. I'm lost for words. I'm trying to be nice with my choice of words. I'm sorry, Mr. Shannon, but I am disappointed, because the Prime Minister, you cannot come out and say to St. Lucians, tone it down on social media, the lies and all those stuff that he's saying, cursing out of each other, but in the House, we are seeing the very same thing that we're cautioning our population on. Why can't we start from the House? Why can't the Prime Minister sit with Mr. Chasney and iron out their differences? Why can't Mr. Frederick and all these government officials, even the Speaker of the House, all those of us who have eyes to see, we can see that there is a problem in the House, a major problem in government, and we cannot turn a blind eye on it. Some of our religious people are afraid to speak up. We need better representation in our government. Better representation. What I'm seeing is a ghetto type attack. Attack team attack. Let's get at him. Let's make him look as bad as we can. And we need to step it up. Mr. Prime Minister need to deal with his government officials, and the Speaker need to be a little more professional and fair and balanced. He represents the people, not himself and not a political party.
And that's the essence of what the last contributor is saying as well. There needs to be examples set from the top. Another contribution, Garfield, and Don, you do the research overnight if you can. We need to find a medium that replace the WhatsApp contributions, the text messages on screen, so we can broadcast those. I think it protects me as the host, so people don't think I'm the one just coming up with some of those contributions. Thanks as well for sending them. Just hold on for me, Garfield. Somebody saying good morning. How do they expect our young people to behave when our leaders themselves are already behaving like criminals? Good morning, St. Lucia. Good morning, Shannon. Crime has become such a major problem and issue in this society. It has given rise and focus to popularity of the term national security instead of public safety. National security focus solely on policing, law and judicial systems, while public safety collectively includes national security and its impact on health, life, injury and safety of the public whom the crime national security issue impacts. In my opinion and view, there is need to be a paradigm shift from focusing on the use and term national security as opposed to public safety. It is so painful obvious that national security is not being viewed to include, and it is very core public safety, as crime impacts the life and health of the public, and with that in mind, the police do not function independently of other agencies such as emergency medical services and legislation required EMS systems, which is designed and exists globally to ensure and provide a public service. So the contributor here, it's a very long piece. Most have no clue that they need to be speaking public safety and not just the words national security, because national security includes and pertains to public safety, with much include EMS. National security is not just policing. Public safety collectively and not just national security in isolation of other points of key agencies which play major integral roles in public safety. This country and society also needs a public safety administration agency or department with a collective holistic view for societal development. Food for thought there. We still don't have the video with Garfield. No. Manager also indicating something to me. Garfield, you have time, correct?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here with you.
Garfield has some time. So let me shoot you one more question, and then I'll connect with our producers in the back scene. How much is the poor state of the economy and the poor performance of the economy contributing to the bloodshed and the violent crime?
Well, as I said, we Shannon, we have there's frustration for sure, and coming out of COVID, we have a lot of families are feeling the squeeze. Some of them are still out of jobs, and again, like I said earlier, there's frustration, and there will be frustration when you can't provide, you cannot get a job, you want to work. Especially the younger folks, they would just throw their hands in the air. But the problem that I'm seeing, some of those persons, those young people, especially the boys, the men, some of them do not want to work. You can actually, when you see them, they either have a bag across their shoulder stuffed with whatever it is, be it a gun, a knife, some marijuana. And one of the mistakes that the government made was when they came in, they were like, oh, the people are responsible, let us not push them, let us not arrest them, let us not. Well, that's the idea you got when they got into power, because what they were doing, they were trying to say to the opposition, well, you guys during COVID were manhandling persons, and so you didn't like them, because you're a white man, you have your foot on the people's neck, and so we're going to liberate them. Those who committed petty crimes, we would forgive. Those who violated the law, the COVID restriction laws, then it is okay, we will wipe that out. And those with small marijuana, we will wipe it out. Those type of things are not good. But now the Prime Minister is saying, well, we got to take care of all these petty crimes. But which one is it? That's the concern. Which one is it? Mm-hmm. Are you saying to the people, well, you got to be liberated from the white man who had his foot on your neck, and now you're trying to pull back that horse that is out the stable? And but most of these killing, when you look, some of them, they are persons who are in groups, and they're getting back at each other. Majority of them, you violate my guy, so I'm going to violate somebody for you. I'm going to violate your vehicle. I'm going to violate your home. I'm going to wipe you out. How dare you? The strongest man really tell. Some of them don't want to work, really. Some of them just want a life of crime, and those persons need to be dealt with severely by the law. They need to be dealt with, and that's why the stop and frisk is very important in St. Lucia. Roadblocks are important. The government need to order police towers to be set up in certain hot spots, like in the courts area on the Sauce Road, where you have when you have concerns there. Towers, police towers need to be set up. Temporary towers need to be set up. Mobile units need to be.
Mobile units. So Garfield, $5 million will not cut it. There needs to be a massive investment, and if the Prime Minister listens to the experts, one of whom we had here recently, the police officers themselves are asking for at least 100 more police officers to patrol the streets. At least. They can do with more, but they're saying they need at least 100 more. We need massive investment in the security infrastructure, as you say, in the mobile police units in and around hotspots, CCTV cameras in and around the length and breadth of St. Lucia, in addition to your social programs. So $5 million will not cut it. I don't know where you're getting the money. I'm not the Prime Minister, you are, but there needs to be massive investment if we are serious about confronting these issues. We can pull off the investments in other locations and put it towards stemming the crime situation, but $5 million alone will not cut it right now. It's simply a bandage on a wound.
Yes, and the monies that are used to hire a new deputy speaker and all those type of things, they're not necessary at this time. That is not important to the people now. Their safety is important. So all those monies and the extra traveling, there is Zoom, there is other, methods that you can use to have your meetings, international meetings. You have ambassadors and other folks in most of these other countries representing the government of St. Lucia. So yes, and the idea of more police officers, you can have 100 more police officers, but how are they trained? Mm-hmm. Are they trained in psychology? Are they trained in human behavior? Community policing? What type of what we have been doing is just give these police officers, some of them, a crash course and throw them on the field and say, well, you're now police officers. And then we go to boss and when we say, we have 100 more, we hired 100 more officers. But what type? How are they trained?
Two more for me. Three more. Garfield, because my next guest already on standby. We'll have a former national security advisor. Garfield, you're a friend of the show, so we'll bring you back anytime once your schedule permits. Let's talk about again the show of leadership. I'm just reading some of the comments here. Number one problem associated with crime is poverty. The people are hungry. Continues to send us your comments. Continue to send us your comments and your feedback. We're online, Facebook. We're also in HD on YouTube as well. WhatsApp platforms and the Flow landline.
The government also need to be careful with their prison system, because what I found out is that there are a number of young persons up there who are on remand for 3 and 4 years, and they cannot get their case into the courts.
The judicial system needs to be addressed. There's a backlog of cases, and there was one interesting initiative that we focused on, the proposed bench. Was it the bench trials? Which should speed up the system and get a lot of people getting their matters cleared up.
Yeah, that system should not be, it should not be at all. And you have, and the society, they're looking on, because when you have persons in the society who are influential, and they can get their cases into that court within seconds, then you will have a frustrated society. And a frustrated society would start acting a certain way. And so we got to let the people of St. Lucia, every citizen, see that the legal system is working for the rich, it is working for the poor. Whether you have money, you can get representation, you can have your cases brought forth just like the other, the politicians. We see it every day. So there is injustice in the society. There is injustice, and poverty need to be dealt with quickly, or we're going to have a major problem, not only with crime but also with
societal decay
and the health of the nation. And we know our medical system is not the best, and to add that extra burden on it as a result of undernutrition, then we need to wake up right away, and we need not to hire a deputy speaker from outside, use that money to help with the poverty issues on the island.
Hold on for me, Garfield. I'll ask you one more and then let you go. But we have a caller who we welcome to the platform right now. Thanks for calling. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Shannon. Good morning to your guest.
Morning.
Yes, I was listening to the program yesterday when you had all the different religious people on. And there's a statement being said, it's been said for some time now, that everything has been tried, so we need to try new things. And I'm not discounting that we need to try new things. But in saying that everything has been tried and it has failed, I'm just wondering if everything that has been tried, it has been tried to the best of its ability, whatever suggestions. Because you're looking at something like patrols. I've been hearing that, there's police patrol, but I'm wondering, where are these police patrolling? I drive on the road every day. It's been years. I've seen a police cop on the road patrolling, looking out for people, who are breaking the law, who are speeding, whatever, to pull them over, vehicles with bad tires. I mean, Shannon, there's such a myriad of problems with every single aspect of St. Lucia. We are almost operating like the Wild West. There seems to be nothing going right.
I want to be fair to the police, Colin. Just hold on for me.
Sure.
You don't see the police from your vantage point, but I want to be fair. I see the police quite often. The police are quite often in and around the city of Castries, Jeremy Street, and the crime hotspots. The problem is the police are understaffed and they don't have adequate numbers. So just like you and I who work 8 to 5s or 9 to 4s, the police work schedules as well. They have off days as well. They have families as well, and they have regular lives. So we can't expect the police to be in the hotspots, the same quota of police officers in the hotspots 24/7. They have said they need more men.
I'm glad you made mention of the same quota, because that seems to be one of the biggest problems, Shannon. You have police presence seems to cut off by 4 o'clock. I mean, that is unacceptable. They must have a system in place. They should have another shift coming in. I'm sure there are people working at night or whatever, or I'm not sure if there are people working at night, because you don't see police after 4 o'clock. You know, I'm not saying that there aren't any, Shannon. I'm just saying the presence of police. You are saying that you are seeing them. Well, maybe you know these people. They may be in plain clothes, but the police officers in uniform is a deterrent. And honestly, I am not seeing enough of that. If it is just in the city of Castries, the central city of Castries, I will have to say that it is not enough, you know.
It's not enough, and I'm agreeing with you, Caller. It's not enough, but I'm just saying, let's be fair to the police. The men and women on the streets, it's beyond them. They're not the one managing the schedules, and they're not the one setting the days off. They're not the one saying we're going to hire 10 more.
Shannon, well, I don't know if you're looking at casting. I'm not really casting blame on the police that are supposed to be the ones doing the footwork. I'm saying there's supposed to be a police system. There's supposed to be a police commissioner. There's supposed to be strategy. So what people are saying, they're not seeing any clear strategy. You know, today you have 10 cops walking you. You know, you feel good. Oh boy, there's so many cops. Tomorrow there's none.
Yeah. So because tomorrow the 10 who were walking yesterday, the day off is tomorrow. They're tired tomorrow,
right.
So and they don't have a replacement. That's the reality.
So I must say, I just find we're not seeing enough organization from the police. I think honestly, the police have sufficient resources to show some kind of order. Like you don't see any order. It's like haphazard. So I think there's a lot of room for improvement.
I don't want to be soft, caller, on the police. I want to thank you for calling, but I disagree. The police do not have sufficient resources at this time.
No. I'm not saying they have enough, Shannon. No, I am not saying that. I am saying with what we have, because at the end of the day, we always have to work with what we have, right? I'm just saying with what we have over 1,000 plus police. You understand? I think if we utilize our resources properly, if we have a clear plan, I think we could do better. I'm not saying that they're not understaffed. I know they are heavily understaffed. In terms of they need everything. We need everything. But I think at the end of the day, and this is not about the police. I'm talking about in general, Shannon. St. Lucia, we really need to put a better foot forward. I mean, we are failing in every aspect, Shannon. We need to find a way to do a lot better. We need to stop tacitly endorsing mediocrity. There's too much mediocrity in St. Lucia, and we need to elevate from that.
That's where we are now. Thank you, caller. Thanks so much for calling. The phone lines remain open, 4500-777. Garfield, before I let you go, what's the mood amongst citizens in the diaspora? What are St. Lucians saying amidst all what's happening here at home?
Well, what I'm hearing is that the folks are afraid to come back home, even for the holidays. They are afraid, they are concerned, and I mean it is already impacting visitors to the island, And we know once you have that increase in violence in a country, then citizens of other countries are advised to stay away from certain, or be careful in going into some of these countries like St. Lucia. And so, what I'm hearing is that folks, I am scheduled to be in St. Lucia, but I'm heading into London in the next few days, then to St. Lucia. And I am concerned. I am concerned. Yes, I trust in Almighty God to protect me, but the crime level needs to be brought under control, and it can be brought under control there. But on the ground, folks are not too excited about Christmas back home this year. Very sad indeed. Very sad.
Yeah. I feel I'm disappointed we didn't get an opportunity to bring the image on screen because of the setup that you have, and it's a face that's quite familiar in our St. Lucian communities. I know St. Lucians love to have you, but that's the way technology works sometimes, no fault of ours. Yes. Or our technicians here at the Morn. We'll always have you back. I want to thank you for coming on and your analysis and comments this morning. Garfield Oliver from New York.
Yeah, thank you, Shannon. Nice being here to all your listeners. A beautiful morning. Blessed morning to all.
You stay
and your producers and everybody there.
You stay safe, my good man. We'll talk again
thank you,
soon.
sir.
Still to come, I have a very special guest who is on hold. Hi, good morning, Alex. I'll come to you shortly. And thanks for being so very patient, my man. And then we'll have the special focus from a national security advisor here in St. Lucia. Next week, happy to announce that we'll have a former police commissioner who will join us on the platform. In my humble opinion, so far it is the most loved police commissioner that we've had to date. He will join us here on the platform. Alex is next, and then we have a national security former national security advisor on the platform. 13 and a half minutes moving down after 8. Good morning. Thanks for making us your choice.
Black Friday deals continue at Quartz Optical. Shop now November 20th through to 25th and enjoy BOGO. Buy one, get one free. You heard right. Buy one pair of glasses and get a second pair absolutely free. Payment plans available from 3 to 24 months. Schedule your appointment online today on www.quartzoptical.com. It's easy and convenient. Black Friday sale continues. BOGO free. Only at Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
After a long year of waiting, Flow brings you the magic of Christmas giving. Discounts on devices to bring you closer to your loved ones. Prizes to enjoy with your family and friends. And the best in entertainment bundles for everyone to gather around. This Christmas, one gift brings many more. Like more data and speeds to share everything with the family. So sign up, bundle up, switch up, top up, or pay up to win $4,000 in cash or appliances plus other weekly prizes. For the best in Christmas deals and rewards, visit discoverflow.co.
Get your clothes sparkling clean with whiter whites and brighter colors. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. Ultra concentrated formula gives more washes with brightening factors added to keep your clothes looking new. And with the added organic fabric softener, your clothes will be soft and fluffy. Joby antibacterial washing powder is also effective in stain removal for cleaner, brighter, softer clothes with the sweet scent of early spring morning. Use Joby antibacterial washing powder. My family, my love, my Joby. Available at supermarkets island-wide. For orders, call 455-3076.
A young man from Bagatelle is dead. He calls on the public to not stigmatize his steel accidents along the Bexar Highway. Tremendous Shasney welcomes the scrutiny of its CI. One man is in police custody following the shooting death of the wife of a police officer.
Look out
for the midday news with Daniela Edwin on Hot 7 TV.
Mourning a loss? Hot 7 TV wants to help you celebrate the beautiful memory of your loved one with In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Whether it's a birthday, a wedding anniversary, or some memorable occasion, or the anniversary of the passing of the dearly departed, Hot 7 TV will create a moving video tribute of that special person, showing how much he or she meant to you. Treasured memories, unforgettable moments. Share them with the world and repeat the airing as often as you'd like. Help keep your loved one's memory alive forever in the minds and hearts of all who care. In Loving Memory, celebrating lives. Contact us at telephone number 452-6040 or email us at inlovingmemory@caribbeanhottv.com.
This is the 2022 Power Soca Monarch First, inviting you to tune into Hot 7 TV. Good morning, St. Lucia. Big up. Now that is spend no lawyer can defend it. Can be broke if she buys it. She must eat all your money. Because God made man, man made money. God made woman to eat man money.
Welcome back on this Tuesday as we continue our analysis and review of the Prime Minister's Honorable Philip J. Pierre's address to the nation, which focused primarily on the issue of national security and crime here on the island. That address delivered last Sunday evening. I always like to be fair and balanced here. So two things to me which stood out from the Prime Minister's address to the nation was a proposal to convert the George Charles Secondary School in cul-de-sac to a new facility for the rehabilitation of young offenders and juveniles within our society. That stood out to me, but a bit concerning given the fact that we have a boys training center and the Uptown Girls Garden, and we know all too well and are familiar with the stories there. So whereas it sounds good that we're going to be converting this secondary school George Charles into a new facility, bit worrisome for some who know the history of how we've treated and maintained facilities of this nature, that we will be adopting a new facility with many problems that are old. But let's wait and see how that unfolds. Another proposal from the Prime Minister was the establishment of an ministerial group in an interministerial panel, so to speak, to have regular discourse and to strategize on issues of crime and national security. It sounds good to hear from you, that Prime Minister, but that's, to me, it's long overdue and should have been in place by now for us as a progressive nation, and sounds to me a lot like a former command center makeup. But it's all well and good. We should have an established system and protocol where government agencies, ministries and departments with similar mandates converse and have discourse regularly to strategize and plan suggestions on how we can deal with not just crime but other issues of national importance. Alex is on. I'm getting a pop-up on the video. I'm not seeing if you guys are seeing it on your end. But let me say good morning to Alex. Alex, thanks for being so patient this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you on. Alex Lava, friend of the show, social media commentator as well, concerned citizen. You watched the Prime Minister's address, correct?
I won't say I watched it. The moment I realized it was pre-recorded, then that hit a core in me on two levels. I'm not going to say I didn't watch it. I paused it. I put it on mute. But I am informed of what was his address, so I'm aware of tidbits of it. But I can comment on what bothered me about the fact that it's pre-recorded.
First of all, tell me why did you think it should have been live, and what's your disappointment with it being pre-recorded?
So, I mean, as a social commentator, however you name it, I have integrity and I have a lot of respect for what I do. So, what I saw done by the Prime Minister is no different than what's happening on the streets. That was an assault on democracy, because that was a disrespectful way to have a conversation for a very important period of time that we're going through. And I'm getting a little emotional here in that there are tremendous challenges that are being faced globally. It's no different than in St. Lucia. We are, without a doubt, facing an elevated amount of crime, loss of lives, and at this point, towards the end of the year, the Prime Minister chose to provide a pre-recorded message. That felt like taking a ham and putting it in the microwave for Christmas. It didn't feel good, it didn't taste good, and it didn't sound good. And for somebody like me who has and continues to pay attention to the democratic institutions that we have, the democratic processes that we value, that provide stability, that provide hope, that provide safety for people, this was a marketing strategy, and to me, disrespectful on so many facets to the people of St. Lucia.
I'll come with some balance there in just a bit, but Alex, what else in a live broadcast would you have liked to see? Would you have liked to see interaction with the public? What else would you have liked to see, as opposed to just the Prime Minister making his presentation live?
I think what I have an issue with, and we're seeing this across the Caribbean, and this is the type of PR and marketing sort of input that communications persons, this is where you see people who are journalists who are now working within the bureaucratic process are trying to package the message. They're trying to control the narrative. It's these sort of PR terms, and what's happening is that we're seeing the political conversation, or the career of a politician is now to be hidden behind a wall, and we're not seeing the live politician to communicate with the people. We're not seeing the politicians go into the communities where the crime is taking place right now. So for me, and I take it from that angle, in that what we are noticing is that they're guarding themselves away from being to confront people. They could have had a live he could have had a live national address, followed by something to do with the media to ask some follow-up questions, to have some news and some substantive conversations going through the week. What we've had now is a prepackaged bulletin dropped. He's on his way to Taiwan, and then they're just going to manage it in a different way. There's no interaction and conversation of what is innovative and what is going to solve crime or what's happening in the nation.
Interesting, very, very, very interesting perspective from you, Alex. The interaction that possible live would have made. Let me balance it off, and it's very important for me to balance off here. Although I'm no longer paid by them, but very important for me to balance and preserve the integrity of this platform. We must be fair. No other Prime Minister in recent memory, and I'll say it with all honesty, no other Prime Minister in recent memory has addressed the nation live outside of the Parliament. So, and if you are surprised, then you should be surprised. All national addresses where the national anthem comes on first have been pre-recorded. Former Prime Minister Kenny Anthony did it. Former Prime Minister Alan Shastney did it. Stephen Singh, especially now when you're dealing with the issue of national security and heightened crime. So I get
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Let me ask something. Let me ask you something, and I don't know how much time we have, so
sure.
So tell me where you need me to go. You mean to tell me during the COVID period when Alan Shastney was making live broadcast, during COVID, national addresses around COVID with
these were live. These were live.
Okay.
These were regular live sessions in the COVID command center, correct?
So I want to be fair too, and I take your point around what you just said. But let's be clear and let's be respectful to the people of St. Lucia.
Yeah.
We've lost 66 to 67 lives.
Yeah.
Young men and young women. And you come in and give me a pre-recorded.
I'm agreeing with you, Alex. I'm agreeing